Hello, I'm Teri Wilson, and welcome to Lady Chanteuse TV. Today I'm going to make a scrumptious rack of lamb, sauteed mushrooms over white rice. I'm going to top that off with some delicious lamb gravy, and I'm going to do a delicious, tasty yellow summer squash. So don't go away, stay with me. I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I have a nice piece of rack of lamb here, and it feeds 4 people. That's 2 chops per person. And I'm going to start with a very generous amount of olive oil and just marinate that in the meat. Turn that over. And as you can see, there's a nice generous amount of fat here, but I still like to marinate it in some, get it started with some olive oil. And then I've already put all of my seasonings together. I've got some rosemary, I've got my special blended seasoning, I've got a little bit of salt, some black pepper, and what I'm going to do now is just, this is my lamb rub, so I'm just going to take that and just rub it all over, just like that. Get it on the sides. I'm going to turn that over. There we go. So I'm preheating my oven at 450. I'm going to let the lamb cook for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to reduce the heat to 350 and let it go for another 20 minutes. Now, this is, if you want, this should get my meat on the medium well, from medium to medium well side. And that's basically how I like my meat. So now I've already made some slits in the lamb, and so after I've put the rub on, I'm going to just, insert some garlic. I love garlic in the crevices or the slits of the meat. Okay. Yeah. Love, love, love garlic. I love cutting it up in my salad. I love it cooked and raw, but I love it raw too. And because did you know that raw garlic is a natural antibiotic? Sure is. Look it up. Okay, let's see if I can get that in there. I think that's a little bit too big, so we'll try this one. We'll try that one. I'm going to turn it over and get that one. And put it in the other slits that I've made. Okay. Good. Slit there. There we go. Right there, right there. I want garlic all over my meat. Alright. So this, let's put a little bit more here. And where's my little, okay. So I'm going to take some black pepper, just sprinkle that all over. And now it is ready to go in the oven. So let me get my roasting pan, let's move that out of the way. So I've got this roasting pan, Now this is probably a little bit too big for this rack of lamb, but I'm going to use it anyway, and I'm going to take the drippings from the lamb and make a nice gravy out of it when it's done. So we're going to just put that there. We're going to put it in the oven, and next I'm going to start on those sauteed mushrooms over white rice. So we'll be back. Okay, as you can see, I have my rice cooking, and that should be done in a few minutes. So what I'm using now, and it's one of my favorite mushrooms, is portobello. And I'm going to chop those up, and I'm going to saute them in this pan. And you know, it's your choice, but you can use cooking oil or a light olive oil for frying or sauteing. But I'm going to do a little bit of both. So let me just put the camera down and get that started. So I've got about a tablespoon of cooking oil, and I'm going to pour just a little bit of olive oil in there. Now this is extra virgin olive oil, and what I like to do is cook my rice at a high heat with the least amount of water possible, and then I like to steam it the way through, because I don't like sticky rice with too much water in it. You know what I'm talking about. And you know, I can do justice to regular white long grain rice or parboiled rice. Today I'm using a parboiled, and as far as I'm concerned, the same method applies to both types of rice. So I've got the heat going in my frying pan or my saute pan, and what I'm going to do is chop up my mushrooms like that. I think mushrooms is a compliment to any dish, really. There are all sorts of mushrooms, but I love portobello, and when they're not available, I get the white mushrooms. And I have them in my salad, I have it in my dishes, my cooked dishes. So we got them chopped up like that, and we're gonna add this to and I know this is off camera, to the frying pan. Now what you need to remember, mushrooms soak up a lot of oil, so you might want to, okay, now I have my rice steaming. I'm going to cover that. So what you might want to do, I'm going to take some of this cooking oil and pour a little bit more in here. And that should get it going. You do that on a medium to high heat. Let me show you what I'm doing here. There we go. We gotta stir around. I'm gonna use, that is the timer for the lamb. I've let it go for about 30 minutes, so now I'm going to reduce the heat to 350 and let that go another 20 to 25 minutes, and then it should be done. In the meantime, I've got my rice. See that? You see how flaky and fluffy that looks? Look at that. No sticky rice in my household. So we'll put that back and let it steam all the way. I got my kettle on, you know, as a lid. Whatever is handy, honey. Okay, I've reduced my heat on the rice, and what I'm going to do is add a little bit of that seasoning that I put on the lamb, just to season it a little bit. And give that a stir. What you can do is cover the mushrooms. And let that, get really, really well done. So why don't I do that? Just put that lid on. And while that's going, we're going to turn our attention to this summer with a tongue tie. Summer yellow squash. How's that? Alright, so, if you haven't noticed, I'm cameraman, I'm camera girl, and cook, and producer at the same time. So, alright. So, we're going to make a nice, tasty, summer squash. Let me move this. Move that. Okay. There we go. Okay, I've already removed the top and the bottom of it. And we're just going to slice that. I'm using my handy, well-used steak knife instead of my butcher knife. Okay, now put that in there. Chop up the other one. See how it depends on how thin or thick you like it. I love squash. Okay, now put that in there. We got 2 more to go. And then after I'm finished there, I'm going to cut up a half an onion, and we're going to add that to the squash. Okay. If you want, you can slice them in half. I mean, this is a lot of squash, and believe it or not, it may look like a lot right now, but when it starts cooking and sauteing, it's going to reduce. Because it's a vegetable, and vegetables contain mostly water. Alright, put that in there. Okay, one more thing. It's hot in here. It is hot. Okay, let's cut that in half. My vegetables flying all over the place. Alright, now I'm going to take my half an onion, chop that up. You can chop them in slices, chunks, you can dice them, however way you want to do it. Alright. Add that in here. My mushrooms should be ready by now, so I'm going to take those out and put them in this dish and put those aside. Now I'm going to leave the oil that I've used to saute my mushrooms, and I'm going to use the oil from that and cook my my squash in it. Okay, just drain it. Alright. So I'm going to put that aside. And so now I'm going to take my squash and just put that in there. and let that go. Now doesn't that look delicious? Absolutely delicious. And this is going to be the garnishing and the complement to that white rice that I'm making. Alright. Now with your squash, what I'm going to do is take a little bit of this parsley and chop that up and add it to the squash. And I'm going to leave the rest for a garnish, like that. Okay, I'm going to chop that up. I think maybe here. Okay. To add that. I'm going to add that to my squash, and as you can see, I have some more seasoning left over. I'm going to just take that and sprinkle that on. I'm going to let you get a look at what I'm doing here. Excuse me, I need to wipe my face. It is hot. Alright, so let's move to this squash. As you can see, I've added my parsley. Okay, I believe my rice is done. I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. Now, just I'm going to add a little bit more seasoning in there. And I'm going to put the lid on. Let that cook down. Let me just plate this rice and let you know, show you what I've done here. See how delicious that looks? I've got my rice. Scratch that. See how delicious that looks? I've got my squash. I've got the chopped onions. Oh, I forgot. Okay, I think I've already added the garlic there. So yeah, I've got onions, some chopped onions, chopped garlic, and some parsley in there with my special blend of seasoning. And we're going to let that cook. And then I'm going to show you what I've done with this rice. This is the rice that just, let's see. You see that? This is the rice. So then I'm gonna, all this is being set aside. I've done my mushrooms, the rice. Now we're working on the squash, and of course the star of the show is the rack of lamb, and that should be finished in a few minutes. Product. So I will be back and show you the finished dish. So don't go away. Okay. Now I've just removed the lamb, and I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. Now I'm going to make lamb gravy. So what I've done, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the drippings from the roaster pan, about 3-4 tablespoons. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of flour to make my roux. Of course, any good gravy is made starting point from roux. I'm going to stir that around and let the gravy brown. And I'm going to go ahead and add some seasoning. If you like chopped diced onions in your gravy, you can do that, but just to save some time, and actually I think I like my gravy without the onions. Usually when I'm smothering pork chops, I'll go ahead and chop some onions, let that brown first, and then brown my gravy. So let me turn this up a little bit, and then after I'm going to let it brown a little bit more, and then I'm going to go ahead and add about a cup or two of water. I think we're going to do 2 cups. Okay. Yep, that's browning. We don't want it to burn. So just add that in. Stir that around. And what you're going to do, you're going to bring that to a full boil and then reduce the heat and just let that thicken up. Actually, I ended up putting like 1.25 cup in there, because that's basically all you need. Let me put that in there. And I'm going to, okay, I don't want to waste anything. I'm going to brown some pepper up in there. There we go. And then put the lid on. Bring that to a boil. It's not quite there yet. And I'm going to reduce it in a little bit. So let me turn your attention, let's put this away, to what we have here. I'm going to remove some of this clutter. All right. This is the lamb. All right, let me turn this gravy down. This is the lamb, and I cut it just to see if it was at the temperature that I wanted. I would say it's about at medium, and so I'm just letting it rest there. Let that rest, and then I have the fried squash or sauteed squash. I'm going to put a little garnish on here like that. And I have my fluffy white rice. And of course, let's not forget those delectable mushrooms. So the last part of this meal is the gravy. Oh, it's looking very nice. Let me taste it. I must say it needs some salt. There we go. Okay. Let's try it again. That's perfect. So I'm gonna step back off camera for a little bit. I'm gonna put this whole dish together so I can serve you. I'll be right back. We have the roasted lamb, we have the summer yellow squash, and we have the rice garnished with some sauteed portobello mushrooms, and to top things off with that delicious lamb gravy over the rice and over the lamb itself, and with a nice red glass of wine. Don't go away. I have a surprise for you. I've got the world on a string. I'm sitting on a rainbow. Got the string wrapped around my finger. What a world, what a life. I'm in love. I've got a song that I sing. I can make the rain go anytime I move my finger. Lucky me, can't you see? I'm in love. Life's a wonderful thing. If I could only hold that string, I'd be a silly so-and-so. If I were to ever let it go, I've got the world on a string. I'm sitting on a rainbow. Got the string wrapped around my finger. What a world, what a life. What a world, what a life. What a world, what a life. I'm in love. I've got the world on a string. Thank you for watching. I'm Teri Wilson, and this is Lady Chanteuse TV. Please comment below if you have any comments to make. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.